I find this something I kind of want to clear up. See, at first, before the round earth theory actually came into existence, people believed the earth was flat, right? Correct. But according to ancient Egyptians, Greeks, Babylonians, and your Aztecs, your Incas, and all those folk, everybody on the earth did believe the earth was flat. However, they thought that the earth was a dome. They thought there was this big dome covering the earth, and they thought that the sun, the moon, and the stars were actually inside the earth per se, because they believe there's a dome on a flat surface. So they believe that the sun, the moon, the stars were hovering above the earth, under the dome, moving around and stuff. And they all believed that God was the one that created that. And nobody challenged that until, of course, the Enlightenment period. What is the Enlightenment period? The Enlightenment period is that time, or that period of time, when mankind decide to be free thinkers. Because you see, at the time, the church was ruling everything. The church was ruling the beliefs of what everyone believed, basically. So everybody, need to believe in God. Everybody need to believe the earth was flat, and everybody need to basically believe what the church believed, because they were the ones ruling the government at the time. They didn't like that, of course. So that's why the Enlightenment period came in, and then you had a slew of philosophers and scientists that came up with these new beliefs and philosophies. So that's the time when they decide to challenge the belief of the church. So now, they didn't want to believe in God, of course, because everyone was tired of God. Because at the time, the church was forcing the will of God on everybody, which is, not really the way it's supposed to be. You're supposed to be able to think freely and all that stuff, especially since Christ left us with the Holy Spirit. Now, we weren't supposed to be, under control of a church that was really trying to do more damage than any good. Killing anybody that didn't believe what they believed and all that stuff. But in the Enlightenment period, the scientists now, I'm pretty sure you've heard of Copernicus. Copernicus came up with the belief that, the earth must be round. And of course, Christopher Columbus, followed in the footsteps and all that. But they believe that the earth must be round because the moon is round. And based off Copernicus's science, mathematics, and all those numbers that he had, people believed him. And then that's when the printing press came through. And then they were able to publish their thoughts and their beliefs throughout the world. And also, this is what sold it, Christopher Columbus sailed the ocean blue. They believed that because the earth was flat, you couldn't go around it. Now, of course, everyone thought the earth was flat and under a dome, but of course, nobody had really discovered anything. Nobody dared to go way out there and beyond and figure out what's left. But remember, even the Aztecs and the Incas thought the earth was flat and round. So they thought, in Europe, if you go west, you're gonna fall off the edge of the earth. But obviously the Aztecs and the Incas were there believing also that the earth was flat. So for you to kind of say that you're gonna fall off the earth, but then there's other people already there that believe the earth is also flat, then that means the earth can be flat, and it doesn't mean you have to fall off the edge, because the way they thought it was a disc. So that when you're going around, you're actually going around in a big circle. You're not gonna fall off no edge. It's not a square map. It's not a square, how I wanna say, setup to where, you're gonna fall off the corner. No. So, we obviously have this new belief that the earth is round. So, because Columbus was able to sail the ocean blue, the earth must be round. But obviously, he just did it otherwise. But the other thing is also that they didn't want to believe in God either. That's obviously when you move forward, you move forward, you move forward, they start to believe in the solar system now. And the shift happened. in which we no longer believe that the earth is flat. We believe that it is round, and we also believe that this earth was not even started by God. We believe that it was started by the Big Bang. Now you see, we're right there. They're trying to take God out the picture, and they're trying to take the original setup that God had out the picture as well, because it all had to do with God. Obviously why there is a war going on right now, not even between flesh and blood, but between principalities, spirits, and all that good stuff. So really, they're trying to take God out the system. But as we go on further throughout history and time, that's obviously what we're moving towards. Because the atheist movement is coming in. They took prayer out of school. They want to take God out the Pledge of the Allegiance. They want to take nativity out of Christmas. We're moving towards an atheistic movement, culture, world, in a way, just away from God. And so now that we believe in this round earth and stuff, that original belief that the earth was flat and created by God is now gone. It's done away with. Now, here's the thing that confuses me. You believe the earth is round, you accepted that theory, but you also want to believe God created it that way. But the problem is, with the round earth theory, if you accept that theory, that means you also accept that the earth was started by the Big Bang. Not true. You also accept that the earth is not older than the sun, but is newer than the sun. Because if you believe the earth is round, you also believe that the sun is the center of the universe, and the sun is actually the oldest living planet, star, or whatever in our atmosphere. But clearly when God created the earth, he created the earth first, and then he created the sun, the moon, and the stars 3 days later, on the fourth day. So you see where it contradicts, but you cannot believe that the earth is round and then turn around and believe that God made it that way. Because clearly in the beginning, that's not how people believed it was made, and that's obviously not how it was made. We want to believe that the earth can be round. We want to accept all their theories, but then we want to add our own twist by saying God created it that way. That is just simply not true. And also, the Roman Catholic Church now is trying to push that God created the Big Bang as well. But as we all know that there was no Big Bang, the earth was created before the sun, moon, the stars are inside the dome firmament, hovering above it. That's actually how God had it set up. But remember, they're trying to remove God from our lives. It's all Satan's plan. He wants to worship. Satan is the sun. He's the morning star. So that is why the sun is now made way bigger than it already is, because obviously before the sun was this small thing hovering above the earth, but now it's 20 times the size, and it's the center of the universe. Everything revolves around it instead of everything revolving around the earth like God originally said or made it. So why or who would want the sun to be the center of the universe? Satan. Did you catch that? You do know that he's trying to take God away from us. And that's already a subtle key. Put a globe in every classroom. The students and everybody in the world will start to believe this, that I am the center of the universe, that I am the biggest thing in the universe, that I provide life, I provide everything, but really the earth does. Because the earth survived without the sun when God created it first. So the sun is not as important as you think it is. That is only Satan's attempt to make himself glorified. And then he names all these other planets after pagan Roman gods. Jupiter, Venus, Mars, all those. Those are all pagan Roman gods. And obviously, who's under all these little gods? Those are Satan's little minions, because there's only one God. There's no other little gods. So all these other planets are all paying homage to Satan, the sun, because they all hover around him and the sun, solar system, the whole planet, the whole everything revolves around him. When it actually all revolves around the earth. Why? Because God made it that way. God made the earth for us. Humans were special. We're divine. We were not made by accident. We were not made by some big bang. And we are not insignificant specks floating throughout the universe. We are the universe. We are the world. And above us is the firmament and God's throne. But when you look at the pictures of the earth, where the hell is the firmament? Where the hell are the pillars of the earth that God said he created? I don't get it. Where is it? Are those pictures real? That's another topic to go into. But hey, I'm just saying.